All right. All right. I think we're live. I think we are. I don't know.
Are we
Are we
live this
live?
time?
Are we live?
Let's see.
Hold up.
Refresh. We'll see if it
Oh,
pops up.
oh, we're live. Oh, we are
We are live.
live.
Yep, we're
What is
live.
going on, everybody? This is the Media Crew. Welcome to it. It's a new podcast that we're going to be hosting every single week on this channel. It's just kind of a fun thing to do, honestly. I thought, like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I was like, man, that would be kind of fun to actually do one because I like to talk, and also I love talking and hanging out with you guys. And there's a lot of awesome stuff that we can cover, a lot of cool topics. So, this is Jake Wipp. I don't actually know what direction I'm facing
Oh,
though.
hello.
So,
It
what
looks like you
what
pointed
is
the
it?
right way. Point to your
I
left.
did. I did.
You
Okay.
got it right.
So,
Yep.
this is Jake Wipp. Jake Wipp has been working for me for about 2 years, and honestly, we're just hanging out, having a lot of fun.
Oh
So,
yeah.
if so, wherever you are right now, wherever you're coming from, wherever you're logged in from, drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, because obviously we have a worldwide audience, and we want to know where you're coming from. So, Jake, this has been a long time coming. We've been
It has been.
talking about this
Yeah.
for a while. I've low key like been throwing around this idea for like a year, more than a year. Maybe not necessarily to Jake, but to other people. I've been like, I want to do this. So we are going to be jumping on here every single week, putting out a podcast. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and really like, I know it's going to be wild. So where are you guys coming from? Let us know in the chat. So, Jake, the big question here, okay? One of the big
Yep.
questions. We have multiple topics to go over today to just talk about, throw our 2 cents in. Let us know also what you guys think about these topics. But, Jake, cloud editing, okay?
Very fun
Cloud
subject.
editing.
Yep.
Now, what is cloud editing, first of all? So,
So
cloud
cloud
editing.
editing.
Oh,
Yeah.
aha, we answered it.
Oh, I
Go
thought you were
for it.
asking me. Okay. I would
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
is the main benefits of it is you're taking the load off of your computer and you're able to use virtual servers to do all the editing. So that way you don't need a spec'd out machine to do the video editing. Everything's stored off in the cloud. You can access it from anywhere. That's the main perks that I see. Plus AI
Essen-
stuff.
Essentially like Google Stadia. No, not Google.
Yeah.
That's a
Which
terrible
is done.
example. Google
It
Stadia
just got killed.
died. It is
Yeah.
gone. Hallelujah. Yeah, that was pretty terrible. So no, cloud editing honestly is a lot like was it Xbox, was it Game Pass, right? So like you can
Okay. Yep.
technically game off of someone else's hardware, but you know, just like video editing, right? So you would have to technically upload your footage directly to their servers, and then you can edit off of it and all of that stuff. But I don't know, like right? Okay, we are currently not at that place though. I know a couple of
Yeah.
companies have been trying to do this, right? One of them being Runway ML, if you guys have ever heard
Yep.
of
Yep.
that. I mean, I made a video on it a while ago, but Runway ML, they're probably one of the closest people to something like that. Like where I know they just dropped an update that allows you to upload like up to 50. Oh, cool. Thank you for letting us know. It says that my voice is a bit hot. Thank you.
Jake's is a bit
And
low.
Jake's is low. All right. Let us know if that is any better. But anyway, so yeah, like the thing though is like Runway ML just pushed an update to where you can actually put or upload up to 50 gigabyte files, which is not a small feat in itself. Like that's that's a massive thing, or at least
It's crazy.
they have been talking. I mean, at least 6 months ago they told me about it, and I would imagine they have done it. So I'm actually not confirmed on that. So take that back.
Yeah.
They
They've
are
done
doing
a
that in the
ton of really
future.
cool stuff.
Yeah. And that's going to obviously lead us into another topic in a bit. But there are some downsides with this, though. Like, obviously, it's going to open up big opportunities for people. But, like, I don't even I mean, the big thing is like uploading files.
Yeah.
Like video files are huge.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
originally, like when I reached out to Runway ML and I was like, hey, because they asked if I wanted to edit a video on their platform because I'm a fan of their platform. It's like a really cool platform, and I'm just like, so they're like, hey, do you want to do a video? And I'm like, yeah, but you guys can't really like, I can't upload my footage. It's not really working because my videos they range from like 35 to 60 gigabytes, like just the files themselves. And that's, of course,
Yeah.
like condensed when you render it. But, I'm hitting like all of that stuff. I'm hitting all the problems right there, like hitting these walls. And the guy, got back to me. He's like, hey, wait, what do you mean? Like, why are you uploading 50 gigabyte files? Like, I guess it was just out of the realm of possibility that, like, that people use these big files. But, like, I mean,
Yeah. The other thing there too is the time it takes to upload. Like, if you don't have great internet speeds, uploading 30 gigabytes will take you a long time. Like
yeah.
the spot that
Now,
I'm at, like I get 10 megabytes a second upload. Like that's like I
pleb.
could not handle that. Yeah, I know.
He's a pleb. He peasant over there. Dude, I just got gigabit fiber and I am like loving it. I
That's
just moved
awesome.
to a new place and it is beautiful. I'm like, "Oh, I get equal
Do you
upload and
get gigabit?
download." Yeah, gigabit. So,
Yeah,
you get like
that's awesome.
970 up, 970 down. And I'm like, "This what was life before this?" Because I remember how long it took to like upload videos at my old office, but now I'm just like, dude, 10 gigabytes, whatever, right? Upload
Easy.
that. Oh yeah, especially like when I'm uploading like new trainings for the inner circle, like they're like 7, 8 gigabytes sometimes, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
plebs, whatever.
easy.
So, uh, how would you be able to scrub at? So someone asked, how would you be able to scrub at high speeds unless it's still local? I mean, we don't have bandwidth of spinning H or hard drives. How would they do with it off 10 gigabits? Yo, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing is like right now we are going to like it's not possible right now, I don't think. I really don't think it's going to be possible at the moment, like at least for pure high quality stuff. Like you're not going to be able to view source video because you're lacking internet. You're lacking all of your the bandwidth and all of that stuff. So I think it's going to be probably 5 years in the future where that starts to become like a really mainstream thing because internet speeds are always increasing. They're getting faster. I mean, within the last 5 years, we saw the development of Starlink, right? Which is relatively like fast. And I mean, it's working. And I wonder, so like, there's also this concept called Li-Fi, which is not Wi-Fi, Lifi, which is like light, I think light emitting. I might be wrong with that, but essentially like it uses your light to any like light source would end up turning into like a wireless hotspot, which is kind of insane, right? But it actually
Interesting.
can work. Yeah, I've been looking into this and I'm like, this is nutty. Like
So
just
like
some
instead of
crazy
having
tech.
like the Wi-Fi extenders throughout your house, like it's just your light bulbs that do it. Is that the idea? Or
Essentially,
is it okay?
but because light is, one of the fastest things out there, right? What is it,
Yeah,
186,000 miles a second or something like that? I mean,
it's a lot.
that's fast speeds. Like you could have some pretty fast speeds if you're starting to do stuff like that. I don't know all of the ins and outs of that. It's just something I've heard of and a concept. I was like, wow, that could be something.
Yeah.
So, but I
So
don't think
the other
like, go ahead.
the other thing with that is being able to scrub. It compresses the video, just like on
Hmm.
YouTube, how you can scrub through it. You're
Yeah.
not viewing the full 10 gigabyte video that someone uploaded. You're viewing like under a gigabyte video that YouTube has made. So Runway ML is having to compress whatever video you have to send it back to you so it has real time playback. But then
Yes.
it's compressed, which you run into a lot of issues when you're like color grading and stuff because it needs to be pristine. Like it can't have any modification to it. So a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff has to stay local at this point.
Yeah, and of course, like some, these are a lot of assumptions. Like, oh, this is how they would have to do it, and I mean, so honestly, like someone could come out with crazy technology tomorrow that blows all of this out of the water. Like we don't know what we don't know. That's the future. So, I mean, it's totally possible. Like, I think we're gonna see it. I think, right now, Runway ML is the closest you're gonna get to it, and you can completely cloud edit off on Runway ML. I don't see the bulk of users doing that, but they've got some crazy features on that, like
Yeah.
a lot of AI features.
The first
Now,
one they came out with was that green screen run one, like the rotoscoping, and it's so good. Like it's crazy.
oh yeah, I mean it is hands down the greatest masking tool out there. Uh, Jake, they're saying you got low volume.
I don't know. It looks like it's boosted all the way. Um, Sound
Weird.
settings. Let's see if I can get it to go a little louder.
So got a little technical issues here. Sorry about that. This is literally the first
All right.
time we're doing
Do
all
I
of
sound
this.
louder?
Think a little louder. Go up a little more, because on your, I see on
That's the.
the back end, it's not really going too high. Ancient where? How we at? Is it better? Maybe.
It says it's at 100. Uh, yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, I hear you perfect, so that's why a little surprising.
I wonder, can you just turn your volume down? That way it kind of evens out a little bit.
I don't know if, I mean, I think we would all be quiet. That's the problem. I think everything would end up being pretty quiet.
I'll just move the mic a little bit closer and
Yeah. Do you have settings on? Okay. Cool. He says it's all
I have a
right.
gain.
Okay. Do you increase that?
Yeah.
What up, Will? My guy.
How's it going?
Dude, Will Justice
Just
is
mic
here.
distance.
Yeah, probably mic distance. So, yeah, I know we have to have we have to have our mics inside of the shot because we're a real podcast now. So, duh. All right,
It's one
I'll
of the
turn my
essential
mic
things
down.
you got to do.
All right, turned it down. Is this any better? Let me know. All right, cool. So, anyway, cloud editing. I think there's definitely a huge future there, and I think it's going to actually be the way. I think it's going to get to a point where if Blackmagic, Premiere Pro is already starting to like dabble in it, right? They have Premiere Pro, or they have what was it?
For
Adobe
now.
Express. Is it Adobe Express? That might be their image editor. But they do have like a mobile
Yeah.
video editor, but I guess it isn't really cloud. So I think they're all going to have to transition eventually over to cloud because, I mean, it's going to get to a point where internet speeds are getting so fast, and they already are, right? Because, like I said, gigabit, like I know my internet service provider. I have actually have Verizon, so Verizon FiOS, and they're starting to roll out 2 gigabit, like residential.
Oh, wow.
So I just wonder if like it's possible, do they have 10 gigabit business? Am I missing out? I don't want 10 gigabit business. That would be insane. There's no reason for it. I don't have that much data running through here. I just hardwire into my server anyway. So whatever, 10 gigabit from my computer to the server. That's all that matters. But
And upload that 10 gigabyte video in a couple of minutes. That
yeah,
could be
exactly.
less than a minute. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and you even see here in the chat, like people are saying that they've been using, Runway ML also. Like the AI tools are insane. They have one, I don't know, and I haven't checked in on them actually super recently. I know they have one though that is going to be for sound effects, right? it
Okay.
will look at it'll look at your footage. Like it can watch what's in your footage, which is a crazy concept, and it understands what is in your footage. So like if you have a helicopter in the background, it sees a helicopter, and then it
That's awesome.
puts the sound effects in for everything inside of there. So you'll have helicopter sounds, you'll have wind sounds, you'll have, if it's raining, it'll put rain in there. It's crazy. Like they
That's
do the
awesome.
sound design for you.
Yeah.
Like it.
One of the other cool features I saw was like color grading that you could just type in like, I want it to look like the Matrix, and it makes it
Wait,
look like the Matrix.
do they have
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Oh my
I just
gosh.
saw an ad for it the other day. It's really cool.
Bruh. Honestly, like they're I think they're going to be the biggest. I think they'll eventually be one of the biggest like competition for DaVinci, for Premiere, for all of that stuff,
Hmm.
because they're pushing it. Like they're using AI in a way that has never really been used. Like we don't
Yeah.
see Premiere and DaVinci. Not that I don't love DaVinci. I mean, I have literally DaVinci centered, channel, but they're pushing it in just beyond that.
Hmm.
Like they're making it accessible for everybody. If you don't have a good computer, guess what? We got you. We have servers.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough money for, let's say, this one time thing, like don't worry, we got it at affordable plan. I mean, there is so much. They have like auto captions now. I know that they have auto
Yeah.
captions. They have let's just jump on their site. What do they have? Like they have a ton. They have a lot of stuff now. They have the green screen tool, which is crazy. In painting, that's the other
Oh
one.
yeah, that one was cool.
In painting will remove,
That
like you could literally
yeah.
like go ahead.
You can if there's something in your shot that you don't want, like maybe a person in the background that's distracting or something, you can just paint over them and it'll track it throughout the clip and remove the person. It does a crazy job at it.
Yeah, and it only takes like a quick moment. You just have to draw over the
Yeah.
thing you don't want, and it knows what to do. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is like machine learning at its finest, but like
Yeah.
the real question is like, will AI ever fully take over?
Hmm.
What do you
My
think?
opinion is no. I would say no because like all the AI and machine learning at this point is based on stuff that has already been done. Like it's not creative. It's just doing what it's been programmed to do. And it's taking inspiration from other places and combining it so it looks like it's new. But in reality, it's all just recycled content, which is a good thing for creatives to do in the first place, like copy stuff that they like. But there's nothing new that would be created, and you don't have as much artistic freedom in creating what you'd like.
I mean, you would really
Or
have
as
to
much
like
control, I should say.
you would really like to have a true video editor, right? Like, so hypothetically, right? This is the kind of scenario I'm talking about. I drop my footage in there and I say edit the video into a tutorial. That's all I put, right? Edit a video into tutorial. Will it do that? Right? That's the kind of thing. It's like, does it know what to do? Does it know that,
Yeah.
I have some funny parts? Does it understand humor? Does it understand emotions? Like,
Uh-huh.
no, I don't think it will, and I think maybe eventually, but like at that point you're starting to talk some like, Skynet stuff, right? Where like
Become sentient.
Terminator, yeah, like it's
Yeah.
thinking for itself. It's like
Maybe we
doing
don't
its
want
own
this.
thing. No, I don't think so. I think it. I mean, I don't think it'll get that far.
Yeah.
It could.
I think they'll get close, just not to the point that it's able to learn by itself, like, and actually be able to understand stuff like the emotion. Like it can
Yeah.
understand stuff that it's been taught. Like if it's taught, like, okay, this type of thing is, portraying this, or this is funny, and it'll know that,
Yeah.
but it won't be able to figure that out for its own without someone giving.
I think the more likely thing is like we're going to see even more like AI developed tools for like tedious things, right?
Yeah.
So color
And that's
grading,
where it's
like
really
we have,
powerful.
yeah. I don't know if it can tell a story in that way, right? Like, I think there's just so many things that it probably won't be able to do. Like the bulk of the editing, would probably still rely on people, but
Yep.
it is going to. I think we're just going to
Rotoscoping
see
is a
the.
huge example of that. Like, it's
I
such a tedious process. It takes hours and hours and hours, and it can do it in seconds. Like,
I, I hate
it's
masking.
crazy.
Masking is like the single worst part of like video editing. I absolutely hate it. Like it's funny because I know that a lot of people like my masking videos are probably the most like well known,
Yeah.
but like man, I hate masking. So like
It's
yeah,
so annoying.
I
Like,
don't.
you make one mistake, and then, like, sometimes it can ripple through the whole composition, and then you have to go back and fix every frame again. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that right there is just terrible. Like I don't like that. So I mean masking is terrible. It's annoying, but like it is a necessity. But honestly, like Davinci Resolve, they're getting there. They're getting, pretty decent with their, you know, object masking and their stuff like that. But they're not close to Runway ML. And
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer, and this is, I guess, what I haven't actually went on the channel and said this because we don't actually have times like this on this channel.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a firm believer of like, hey, if there's a better way to do something, if it's using another software, do it.
Yeah.
Like, why waste your time trying to be complicated and trying to do the complicated way? Your time is so valuable.
Hmm.
And I think that's what happens. Like you'll see a lot of people burn out because they're just doing the same repetitive task over and over and over. And it's
Yep.
like, man, just use something better. Like your time, your happiness is worth, $20 a month for Runway ML so that you don't have to spend 3 actual days rotoscoping.
Yeah.
Please, I will take
Yeah.
that trade-off.
Yeah.
I will take it. $20, dude, I'd pay 40 if it took 3 days of editing away from me, a
Yeah. Yeah. I
month or
think that's
something like
a
that.
big strength of, like, AI and machine learning tools is just getting rid of the boring tasks, getting rid of the tedious stuff that you have to go in and do, and stuff that can be done by a machine, like rotoscoping.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it's a big thing that if we're not of course addressing and trying to like use the best tool for the job,
Mhm.
then what are we doing? Like
Yeah.
if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Because like we're in a place where like there's just rapid development with these tools, right? We have new features for DaVinci, new features for Runway ML being thrown out every single month. Premiere Pro is doing crazy things. Now, you won't see me using Premiere Pro to edit anything or use any of their tools, right? I just won't. I've used it for years, and now it's just I won't because DaVinci Resolve has just blown them out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's super important that we use like these AI tools. Of course, like they're cutting edge and sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't because they're so new. Like I've had times where Runway ML hasn't worked well, right? And it's like put these like ridiculous like it was either like picking up the background or like not smoothing the masks. But you just reach out to the support and be like, "Hey dog, this is going on.
Yeah.
I need you to fix this." And they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we did something with our model and clearly it didn't work."
And that's the beauty of machine learning and stuff. The more people you have using it, the better it's going to get. Because it's just gathering information on how to make itself better. Like,
Oh, for sure. I
yeah.
mean, and it picks up all that information and it does its stuff and it knows what to do. And eventually though, like if tools like this are already this far, right? And it's 2022. Imagine like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Like what does that even look like? Like that's going to be a mind-boggling thing.
It's going to be crazy.
I mean, and Yeah. And I guess like with yeah, oh, and like especially for hair, right? Miguel actually was saying something like hair is a super hard thing for AI to understand because
Hmm.
it's, super fine and all of that stuff. I think Runway ML has done pretty decent with that. But like there is, the crazy one I've actually seen. It's not like for video editing, it's for photos. Canva is like phenomenal with background removal. Like
Yeah.
I prefer it over Photoshop.
Huh. Yeah, I've never used their background removal feature.
Bruh, I'll set you up with a free account because I think I have like five under that for the business, but like five
Sweet.
accounts or something like that. It's like, yeah, yeah, right. But it is wild. It can see your glasses and it will like, if it realizes like, you can see like some of the background through your glasses, it'll remove just the background out of your
Yeah.
glasses and leave the rest of it. And it just knows what to do. And it's crazy. And it actually understands hair,
Yeah.
which is also wild.
I
So,
think another great example of that everybody can try is just using your phone. Open your phone, go to the portrait mode, and take a selfie. They've gotten so good at tracing out your hair, and like if you have glasses on, tracing that out. Like, that's just your
oh yeah.
phone that you have in your pocket, and it's able to do that. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. And like, like phones are next level, right? Like the iPhone 14 is like crazy, especially with like its camera, right? The video features on that thing. I mean, my S22 Ultra, it shoots like
Same phone.
8K
Yeah.
video. Why it shoots 8K? I mean, yes, it's a cell phone sensor, but it
Yeah.
shoots 8K.
Yeah.
Like my camera does not do
It's
that.
crazy. Yeah.
Obviously, they're different, like different sensor, different size for sure, different, light processing and all of that stuff. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna have better quality on a camera than you are gonna be on a cell phone.
Yeah.
But
Like right now with our cameras, we're streaming in 1080.
I don't
If we
know.
put our phones in that and shoot in 8K, it's not going to look as good as these cameras.
No, it
Like even
won't.
shooting in the
But
8K
like
res, like yeah,
for sure. And the so then now the question with this, right? Our next topic is, can smartphones one day, or can they replace a cinema camera? And should they replace a cinema camera? It's a good
you go
like,
first on
should
this one.
they?
I want to hear your take on it. We talked about this a little bit the other day, but yeah,
I don't think they should. I
you
don't
don't
think
think
they
so?
will. No, I don't think they ever will. Um, because what a cinema camera does is like so much different than what a phone does, right? A phone is trying to be the jack of all trades, whereas a cinema camera is good at one thing. It's creating these high quality videos. And, especially, and Jake told me this the other day, especially with IMAX, like, dude, they're recording in film, like straight up film. It's like
Yeah,
what, 16K film?
18K.
18K?
If you go with
Like,
the 70 millimeter film IMAX cameras, the digital equivalent is 18K. That's what they projected on in the big IMAX theaters. Um, it's it's crazy.
I guess that still blows my mind that like the industry is still using film, and then they're
Yep.
scanning it in at really high quality, of course, high quality scans, and then they do stuff like that. But I don't know, like it's a crazy concept that the industry, as digital and crazy as it is, they still, a lot of these movies are still using film.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like any of the like cinematic type movies, like the action movies and stuff like that has that cinematic look. They're either shooting in a film camera or spending a ton of time later to make it look like film, like printing it back onto film strips or putting it through film emulators on a computer, and that's using machine learning
Yeah,
just to get that look. So
isn't that what Stranger Things does?
I'm pretty sure that's what they do. I know the Batman with Robert Pattinson, they shot the whole thing in digital, but then converted it to film. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like I also wonder how much film is that? Like actual film. Is it miles of film?
It's a good
Like
question.
that's
You
that's a
should
real thing.
you should look up. IMAX has some videos on their channel as to like how their film works, and it's these huge rolls that they need to use like forklifts to get up and put them into the projectors because they weigh so much. Like,
Forklifts.
yeah, they're crazy.
You just get like
You gotta look up one of the behind the scenes of the big IMAX theaters.
the world's strongest man here to like just lift it for you as like a competition. Like Eddie
Yeah.
Hall or one of those guys.
Can they lift a movie?
Yeah, it's like can you lift Tenet? That's the
Yep.
whole thing. Can you lift Tenet?
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, I know Tenet is like insane. I know iPhone. So, RC says that iPhone claims to replace cameras.
Flames.
So, claims. Strong word. Yeah. And like I think you're going to see a lot of you're going to see the big downfall of like the camera, especially in low light. Sorry, not the camera, the iPhone. You're going to see it in low light and when you zoom in. So if you zoom in, a lot of cameras now or a lot of phones now have 100x zoom, which is just beyond me that why would I ever need that? I mean, is it cool? Heck yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
I'm over here like zooming into stuff like across the, city and I'm like this is pretty sick. But I'm never going to use that. And it's also incredibly grainy. Like,
Yeah.
of course, it uses AI to
You
fix
get limited
it.
by the size, like you were talking about, like the sensor of the phones. Like,
Yeah.
if you've seen the lenses on the new 14s compared to like an iPhone 6, like the actual camera sensor or like the whole lens is as big as the flash on the new phones. Like it's ridiculous, but it's still nothing compared to a sensor on a digital camera like a Blackmagic or something like that.
Oh, yeah. And hold on. This?
Uh-oh. What do we got here?
This versus this. You see a difference? All of this is a lens. Whereas these are little lenses. Like this is this is the big downfall to phones replacing cameras is you're never going to be able to have the quality, the clarity, and overall wow, let me hit the wrong button on this camera. The overall size of the sensor, you're never going to have that. Like this is the sensor. This huge 1 inch, what is it? 1 inch, 1.5 inch, something like that. It's a full
I'm not
frame, so
sure.
it might be. It's full frame, so it's like 1 inch, I think, 1.1 or 1.5. Anyway, these things are like a fraction. Like these are a fraction of this, and this is where you're gonna like really come into the thing here. Is like you're gonna lose a lot of quality. It's just this is taking more quality. This camera, this is a full frame camera, the Panasonic Lumix S1. Actually, funny enough, somebody actually gave it to me for free.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I got it for free. Not Panasonic. Like literally, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I don't want
Want a
this
camera?
anymore. Do you want it for free and all of my lenses?" And I'm like, what were you gonna say? No, I don't want a $2,000 camera plus $1,200 in lenses for free. Please, give it to someone
nice.
else.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna take it. Yeah. And I know like they're so anyway, like iPhone, they've got a lot of cool features, and like
Yeah, like the cinematic mode.
I mean they're I just don't think you're ever going to hit unless you can fit a 1 inch sensor in a phone. I just don't think you're going to be able to compare.
Yeah.
But
Well, because that's the
I would.
other thing with the bigger sensor. First off, you let more light in, so low light
Mhm.
situations are gonna look a lot nicer. Like if I try to take a photo in this room right now, like even with the bright lights, the background would still be really noisy. And then second, using any of the like cinematic modes or anything like that, it's not perfect because it's all digital. Whereas if you go with an actual camera, it's optical. So it's going to be
Yeah.
perfect every time. Like the roll off is going to be it's going to be perfect. It's going to be the
Mhm.
same everywhere on the image. And that's also going back using like film as a perfect example. People are
Mhm.
still using film because of the optical and like analog look that it has. So I don't think people are going to keep getting rid of that so that they can shoot on a smartphone instead of a professional camera. Like you'll just keep losing out
Yeah.
on those little minor things that make it look so much nicer.
Now we are leaps and bounds beyond what the iPhone 5 or iPhone 6 was, right? And I
Hmm.
think a good first camera is in your pocket, right? I think this
Oh yeah.
phone should be used for beginners who are starting out. Please make crazy commercials with this, right? I want you to actually. I think it's a beautiful thing. Like you're only going to get better. But of course, for like movie industry, cinema, like even uh, you know, commercials, you're not going to ever use. You're really not going to use an iPhone. You
Yeah.
might like you could be able to get away with it, and some people probably have.
But
I think
also
they
just think of
are.
like you show up to a commercial, like a shoot. Let's say you're getting paid thousands of dollars for it. And so the client's like, all right, yeah, did you bring all your stuff? And you pull out your phone. Like, yeah, I'm ready to record. And then they
Then,
pull out their phone. It's the same one. Like,
and then you like
I
screw
mean,
on the little
obviously
lens.
yeah, there's obviously skill to it and knowing what to do and like all the editing and stuff. But it's gonna have like a certain, like the client's gonna be like, wait a minute, could I just be doing this? And yeah, it just won't
Yeah,
seem as professional.
I think in the industry, like definitely the camera size is also like a thing. It's kind of like a little flex. And
Make
it's
your
like
camera as big
yeah,
as possible. Yeah.
yeah, I know. It's like hey, get your camera out, like throw two V mount batteries on there, even though one is actually being used and the other one's not even plugged in. But just do it so it
You've
looks
seen that
cool.
photo. It's a GoPro. They have a GoPro. There was like a V-mount battery. There was one of the big map boxes. Like the thing's, it's a huge camera setup, and it's just for a little GoPro in the center.
Yeah,
It's that perfectly. Yeah.
but I mean, it definitely like there is a sense where you know, if you have a decent sized camera, you just feel better. There's that feeling of like I'm better equipped for this now, and I'm obviously like having a massive camera. Well, I mean honestly, I would walk around with a red. Why not? Reds would be awesome.
Get some
But
crazy
also,
video.
I don't have $40,000 to do that. For others, DD. What up, boss? How you doing? He said, "Say hi."
I should say hi
So
back.
hi back.
There you go.
Uh, hey, there it is. I had to say back. I'm sorry. So anyway, yeah, like I don't know, having like an appropriately sized camera, especially if you're being paid like thousands of dollars to do a project, like it feels like I don't know. There's just something about it. But I guess
Yep.
like it's it's not the size that matters. It's how you use it. It's how you use the
All right.
camera. It's how you use the camera. I'm not saying anything bad. All right. It's how you use the camera. This is PG. This is PG. I'm just talking about how you use this camera matters. I mean, this is obviously a really big camera, but whatever. Uh,
Oh man.
oh man. Yeah.
You heard it
So
here first.
yeah, you heard it here first. Camera sizes don't matter. I mean, I think they kind of do, like in terms of like phone versus cinema camera, right? There's some obvious
Yeah.
things there, but I really actually want to see the cinema cameras and stuff like that. Like Panasonic, Canon, Red, Arri. I'd love to see these companies adopt some things that are in the that phones have. Like, why don't we have AR support? That'd be
Autofocus.
sick to have. Yeah, right. Autofocus. Like Reds do not have autofocus.
Yeah.
Aries do not have
But
autofocus.
there is a certain thing too to not having autofocus and benefits to that. Because you have to be a lot more intentional with everything. Like, it
Yeah.
forces you to think stuff through. Okay, what do I want to focus? And then also, like, you
Ye-
can have dedicated people on set. You can have someone that's just dedicated to making sure the camera's pointed in the right direction. So that's all they have to focus on.
But
And
I,
that's why they have so
but
many
I,
people on movie sets.
but I'd rather have the ability to have autofocus versus not having it at all.
Yes, that is true.
Right? I'd want if I could just turn it off because I never want to use it. Awesome. But what if that one time I want to run and gun with a red camera? Now, I don't have a red camera, but what if I wanted to? I can't. I need an actual person sitting there manually focusing it with a focus wheel, or I have to sit there and do it myself. Which,
Yeah.
if you're using a stabilizer, it's going to get really tedious really fast.
Yeah,
And
I use the Blackmagic cameras. They don't have autofocus, or they don't have continuous autofocus. Like, you can
yeah, I'm
tap
like,
it, it'll focus. Still not great. So I have a whole system on the camera that I've got like a handle that has like a wheel on it that I can control the focus, and I've got a focus motor. It's kind of hard to see, and yeah, but like
wow,
you have to. There's a good amount of work you have to do just to get a decent solution to it. So it'd be nice if it
wow,
had autofocus.
impressive camera size. Um, but yeah, no, that's just a real thing. Like, I think it's better to have those options and never use them as opposed to just never building them in.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you know how I think about that kind of stuff, like especially when we're making like our presets, right? I'm just like, no, give people the option, and if they don't ever want to use it,
Yes.
don't let them use it. I know, because Jake's the one that like sits there and like listens to me as I'm like ripping apart like what he just made, and I'm like, no, we need to do this, and he's like, okay, fine. But no, like having the ability to use autofocus or like having AR support or like motion tracking support in your
Yeah.
camera would be wild. It would be amazing. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't see why the industry doesn't do that. I mean, I know Red has been experimenting with like,
I think one of their cameras does have autofocus now.
if you could call it that. They're using contrast-based autofocus, which is the worst type of
Oh,
autofocus.
gotcha.
So,
Okay.
so what contrast-based autofocus is like it essentially just gives you like it tries to autofocus based on like what is giving off the most contrast in the image, and of course there's probably some like other processing in the background, but you know, I guess the assumption is that you would be the most lit, like you would stand out the most from the background or whatever you're trying to focus on. Problem is that's not always the truth. It's sometimes actually it's most of the time not exactly precise. It's not that, and that's
Especially
why
when
it's
you
just
come
a
into like the cinema world, like,
ugh.
and that's what the red cameras were made for. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're
yeah,
never gonna vlog on a red. Imagine just like holding this like massive red camera and just like this is
oh my
obviously
gosh,
like this is a little chunky camera, but like red cameras are like this big and that's like just the body, right?
yeah,
And
you
then you
need
got the lens
battery, you
and
need storage, lens, yeah,
ugh, I know that's where you get like the nickel and diming stuff. Where I'm like, man, you are just really racking it up right there.
yeah,
There's a lot of money to use red cameras, or Airy Alexas or whatever. But like, I mean, if I guess if you have the money, and why not? I mean, as long
yeah.
as not saying not saying I'm gonna go out and buy a red because I have zero purpose for it, nor do I even have anything close to the money for that. I don't want a red unless I'm
You
like
can maybe
truly
buy
doing
one
a
of
lot of
the
production.
storage cards. That's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
It's
I can buy a red
ridiculous
mag.
amount too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the mini mag. I think they're like $1,000 for one, and all it is just an M.2 hard drive, like in a special case.
And 12 gigabytes too.
Yeah, I think it's like nine. I think it's like 900, something like. I don't know actually 960. Depends on which one you get probably. But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, Jake, you're over here like you record to a hard drive.
I
If you
do.
record in
I
RAW,
record in a solid state.
if you record 1 hour of RAW, your whole 1 terabyte SSD is taken up.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude,
That's on
imagine
my 4K.
red.
I have the Pocket 6.
Yeah. Like imagine a red camera. Like storage is just stupid.
It's $1,500 for a 480 gigabyte card.
That's just like overpriced right there. Like honestly,
That,
there is
yeah.
no other I don't know what else to say. Like it's just overpriced.
Yeah.
And that's where the power of
That's
third party comes
ridiculous.
in. That's probably where the power of third party comes in, where people just develop something else, uses the same mount, but of course you have like, probably some problems with that. Like Red might sue you or sue the maker
Yep.
of that because
Or
proprietary
disable it with
technology.
software or something.
Yeah, something stupid like that. But yeah, I mean it's insane. I don't know. I mean, I know we got off topic a little bit in the cinema cameras, but seriously, like, I don't know. I think it's insane some of the like where the expenses show up in that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want like you would expect there to be like a monitor, right, or at least a screen for you to view your
Nope.
footage on. No, what do you're gonna pay an extra like $3,000 for just a screen.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Linus
want a
Tech Tips
cable
has a great
to-
video on that. When the Red cameras were
Yeah.
popular, and he's just having fun. Want to do this? Another $5,000 and just it was expensive.
Oh, you want a cable? Oh yeah, $300 for the privilege to use an HDMI cable on your camera. Like what?
It's
What is
crazy.
this? Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I think that's just insane. And I mean, we're of course like as stuff develops and as stuff is going further, right? You're gonna want these higher end cameras, or I will start seeing like more consumer grade cameras like this, right? That can shoot 8K. Even I mean, we have Blackmagic dropped one that records 12K. Of course, they're cinema
It's
cameras,
nuts.
but it's like $1,000. No, sorry,
The
10,000
6K
bucks.
The 12K.
It's like 10,
No, it's
12K.
they dropped.
Wait, really?
It,
6K, yep.
obviously, you still need to buy
Are you
extra
serious?
stuff for that. Like you need a lens. You're gonna need some crazy storage for that. But and you got a 12K cinema camera all ready to go, instead of spending $40,000 for the body
Yep.
of a Red camera.
Bro, why is it okay? Why is it
Buy one,
so
though.
cheap though? I don't have the money to buy one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not made of money. I don't have the money. Yeah, like it's dude, $6,400 for a 12K camera. That's wild.
Like it's expensive, but that's accessible. Like
It's not a ridiculous price.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I guess that's like also a really great equalizer. Like if you drop a camera that's like a low price, I mean, your camera becomes the bigger option. Your camera becomes a more accessible option for more indie filmmakers.
that's
I
why
think,
I chose the
that's probably-
Blackmagic camera. Is because with the image quality that you get out of it, it's unmatched by the other. You lose out on some features like autofocus and that kind of stuff, but you spend less and get higher quality as a result.
Yeah, I think it's like important though. Like, what are you gonna use your camera for? Like, I know you shoot a lot of weddings. I would never use a Blackmagic camera for weddings. I'm just putting it out there, bro. What do you?
The image you get is so good.
Yeah. But like, if I'm gonna put it on a gimbal, right? And I want to, that smooth, like crispy footage, especially for a wedding, right? Because you don't want like crazy, moving around.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have as much control over like the focusing, and it's gonna be a pain in the butt. And especially you get something like sunlight
Focus
in
wheel.
there. Focus wheel. Yeah, I have one.
You just hook it up.
I
with the
have
mode.
one. But here's this: if you want to track a subject, right? Let's say track the bride as she's doing something, right?
Yeah.
You now have to make sure that you are 100% on it, and no room for error, especially with you, because for some reason you're over here using a 1.3 aperture lens, and the most. I know literally she's just like a stutter. You're like a stutter away. You're like a muscle spasm away from like ruining the whole clip. I don't know, man. That's like a level that I am just not willing to go. Like I'll say, nope, give me a Sony. I'll track, I'll use this. I'll track it. Great. But, oh man.
Yep.
Like Blackmagic, they're great. Just not for like run and gun events. Wouldn't use it.
Autofocus.
They need good autofocus.
Yeah.
Like none of this like contrast based thing. Like just put the feature, and if people don't use it, they don't use it. But at least you have the feature.
Yeah.
The features are
The other thing I
important.
thought about looking into getting is DJ
Lighter.
autofocus system. I'm not sure exactly how it works and how you set it up, but laser to measure the distance, and then it can somehow connect with
Work with any lens, and it'll just.
automatically focus for you. So that'd be cool.
Okay. So that's actually really cool. They do that. It only works, I think, it doesn't work with infinity focus lenses.
No.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
No? Yes?
I didn't know what
Okay.
Lens that I
I
bought
bought
was
was an infinity,
this lens.
and so for now, I don't know what the non-infinity ones are called.
I think they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't actually know.
Just a-
There's more cinematic lenses.
It has yeah.
Whatever.
How fast
to
is
spin it, it's always gonna focus at the same speed. Like with the infinity one, all gets messed up.
Yeah. So it looks like they say we're breaking up a bit. So
That's
I wonder why that would be. Yeah, we're gonna work on that because obviously the breaking up is not what we want to be doing. We're gonna work on that one for next week. I think we're gonna be changing a lot of stuff up in the
I don't
back
think my
end
internet's going right now.
there was like a big there was a tornado warning, right? So that could be
Affecting some stuff.
Oh, that's fun. All of a sudden your roof just flies off in the background. He's like, no, I'm still here. The podcast must go on. I've tethered myself to the floor joists. We're doing this. Dang. All right, so we actually are going to be wrapping this up because we have an office hour in our inner circle right now. Office hour essentially is we are going to, talk to, we're going to answer all the people's questions inside the inner circle. It's something that we do every week or two inside of there, and we actually got to jump onto that. So if you want, if you guys are excited about this podcast, you want us to continue, we're going to continue because we want to, but let us know in the comments below. Share this around. If you want to join an office hour in the future, links in the description. Check out the inner circle, and we will see you soon. Peace.
There.